In a quiet village surrounded by rolling hills, there lived an old widow named Agnes. Her small cottage sat at the edge of the village, and every evening, she would sit on her porch in a rocking chair, staring at the empty chair beside her. The villagers often whispered about her, wondering why she kept the chair there. "She's lonely," some would say. "She's waiting for someone," others guessed. Agnes never explained, but there was a deep reason behind that empty chair. The stranger's visit. One cold evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a traveler named Lucas knocked on Agnes's door. He was lost, weary from the road, and in need of shelter. Agnes, without hesitation, invited him inside. As Lucas warmed himself by the fire, he noticed the empty chair by the fireplace. "Is someone joining us?" he asked curiously. Agnes smiled, her eyes reflecting a mixture of sadness and wisdom. "That chair is reserved for someone special. Would you like to hear the story behind it?" Lucas nodded, intrigued. The promise. Agnes began her tale. Many years ago, when she was a young woman, she had a best friend named Clara. They were inseparable, sharing dreams, laughter, and the occasional tear. They promised each other that no matter where life took them, they would always make time to visit and sit together, sharing stories. As time passed, Clara moved to a distant city for work. Letters were exchanged less frequently, and eventually, they lost touch. But Agnes never forgot their promise. "I keep this chair here," she said, "because I believe one day, Clara will return, and we'll fulfill that promise." The stranger's reflection. Lucas was moved by the story. He thought about his own life, how he had drifted away from people he once cared deeply about, too busy chasing goals and responsibilities. The empty chair felt like a symbol of all the relationships he had neglected. "I think we all have an empty chair in our lives," Lucas said softly. "People we've lost touch with, promises we've forgotten to keep." Agnes nodded. "It's never too late to reach out, you know. Sometimes, all it takes is a letter, a call, or even just a thought to start bridging the gap." A letter to Clara. The next morning, before Lucas left, he watched Agnes write a letter. "Dear Clara, it's been many years, but I still think of you. If you ever find yourself near the village, know that my door is always open, and your chair is still waiting." Lucas promised to deliver the letter if his travels took him near Clara's city. Inspired by Agnes, Lucas began reaching out to old friends and family members he had neglected over the years. He realized how much joy it brought him to reconnect, to rekindle bonds that had once felt lost. Months later, Lucas returned to the village, carrying a smile and an envelope. Inside was a reply from Clara. One evening, as the villagers walked past Agnes's cottage, they saw something unusual. The once empty chair by the fireplace was no longer empty. Clara sat there, holding Agnes's hand, both women laughing and crying at the same time. It was a reminder to everyone in the village to cherish their relationships, to keep their promises, and to never leave chairs empty in their hearts.